Rachel Wilde doesn't chase down people who skip a car payment. She goes after the rich, the powerful, and the supposedly untouchable, men who bury their dirty money behind shell companies and expensive lawyers. To get it back, she's willing to walk right up to the edge of the law and sometimes step over it. That edge is about to get a lot closer than she expects. It starts on a private island where a man named Braxton is riding in a car with a man named Olson behind the wheel. Braxton asks him to pull over. He needs to make a call. Olson agrees, steps out, and waits. Braxton sends his own bodyguard, John, outside too. The moment they're alone, Braxton dials a woman named Bobby Sheen. Bobby is an executive at Spencer Goldstein, the asset management firm. She's personally overseeing this deal because a billionaire named Manny Salazar owes Spencer Goldstein $1 billion, and Braxton is the man sent to collect it. He tells Bobby the deal is done. Salazar's signature is on the documents. He's still on the island, heading for the airport. For a second, it almost sounds like good news. Then Olson raises a gun and shoots John dead. Braxton scrambles for the driver's seat. The doors are locked. Olson has the only set of keys. There's nowhere to go. Olson swings the door open, and the instant Braxton steps out, he shoots him too. He picks the signed documents up off the ground and calls Salazar directly. "Everything's handled," he says. Salazar just laughs. He has no intention of paying a cent of that $1 billion. Not now, not ever. And he warns Olson that anyone who tries to make him will end up just like Braxton. Back at Spencer Goldstein, Rachel storms into Bobby's office, furious. Braxton went in alone, with no backup, and Bobby never even called her first. He wasn't careful enough to deal with a man like Manny Salazar, Rachel tells her, and that mistake cost him his life. In his entire career, Salazar has never once paid back a debt willingly. So Rachel makes Bobby an offer instead. Let her bring in the full $1 billion herself for a 10% cut. Bobby agrees on the spot. She doesn't even run it past her own bosses first. It's a decision neither of them realizes they'll regret. Rachel heads home, where two of her most trusted people are waiting, Bronco and Sid. She lays it out for them. Salazar is a ghost, 1,000 faces, a stack of fake identities, a talent for staying one step ahead of every government that's ever come looking for him. Bringing him down means working inside the law and outside it at the same time. She splits the job. Bronco takes sabotage and intimidation. Sid takes bribery, corruption, and surveillance. Sid flies out to Saudi Arabia. Bronco goes with Rachel to pay a visit to William Horowitz, Salazar's lawyer. Rachel tells Horowitz she wants to invest in one of Salazar's overseas companies. He doesn't buy it for a second. Something about her feels wrong, and he calls for security to throw them out. Bronco stops the guard cold and gives Horowitz a simple choice. Wait 30 seconds for Rachel to finish talking, or call an ambulance for his guard instead. Horowitz tells the man to stand down. Rachel lays it all out. She knows Salazar swindled Spencer Goldstein. She knows every shell company hiding his fortune. Horowitz warns her she's stepping into something far bigger than she understands. Rachel doesn't flinch. She drops her card on his desk, tells him he'll be calling her soon, begging for help, and walks out. That's the start of Phase 1. Bronco and his partner, Baker, fly to Salazar's island to scout the terrain and quietly build a base camp. At the same time, Sid lands in Saudi Arabia, where Salazar is building a hotel that violates his construction license. One tip to the government is all it takes. The project freezes overnight. Salazar eats a massive fine and starts losing $4 million for every week the site stays shut down. Horowitz doesn't need long to figure out who's behind it. Out on the water, Bronco and Baker reach Salazar's oil rig, where a local contact has everything waiting for them. Bronco wrecks it completely. Months of repairs. $500,000 a day in losses. Salazar is bleeding money, and he doesn't even know why yet. Horowitz finally corners him, furious over the losses piling up by the hour, and tells him the truth. Rachel Wilde is behind all of it. Salazar wants her dead immediately. Horowitz talks him down. Killing a lawyer with her kind of connections would bring a legal nightmare down on both their heads. His advice instead, offer her a settlement, $300 million, and let it go. The rest of their empire, he assures Salazar, is buried safely with their accountant, a man named Wolfgang Wolf Close. Rachel will never get anywhere near him. What neither of them knows is that Bronco already planted a listening device inside a statue, sitting right in Horowitz's own office. Every word they've just said, Rachel's team already heard. With Horowitz's calls bugged, the next target is Wolf himself. Rachel's people need to get inside his computer and pull out every shred of hidden financial data they can use against Salazar. Doesn't take long to learn his two weaknesses: rare antique sculptures and high-stakes backgammon. Gucci builds a rigged board and smuggles it into a private gambling party. Sid sits down, posing as a wealthy businessman, and starts demolishing every opponent at the table. Word reaches Wolf's assistant, who can't stop talking about the stranger cleaning everyone out. Wolf can't resist a challenge like that. He sits down to play Sid himself. Sid beats him too, but instead of taking the win, he waves it off just enough to earn Wolf's trust completely. One more round, Sid suggests, for $10. This time, he throws it on purpose, claims he's out of cash, offers to send over a piece from his private collection instead. Wolf doesn't think twice. The next day, a small antique statue shows up at his office. He's thrilled. He adds it straight to his collection, with no idea it's wired with surveillance gear. Within hours, Rachel's team has everything. Every account, every shell company, every dollar Salazar ever hid. They hand it all to the authorities. The case lands in court. A judge freezes every asset Salazar owns. Horowitz calls Rachel with an offer: $300 million, cash, take it and disappear. Rachel turns it down flat. She wants to meet Salazar herself. She hangs up before he can argue. That's her cue to call the team together. Salazar is setting up a meeting on his island. It's time for Phase 2. Sid and Gucci fly out to join Bronco, already waiting at camp with a full arsenal. Guns, explosives, motorcycles, drones, vehicles, even a helicopter on standby. Bronco picked this exact spot for one reason. It sits right next to a network of underground tunnels. He walks the team through the extraction plan. If the meeting happens at the hotel, there's only one road out. If it happens at the villa, they escape by sea instead. Either way, the timing has to be perfect, because Salazar doesn't just have his own private army of mercenaries, he owns the island's police force too. That means they need eyes inside the police station itself, just in case. The training begins. Dunn, Gucci, and Baker scout the northern extraction point. Bronco, Moreno, and Sid take a different road from the hotel, running it at full speed on motorcycles. The police spot them. A chase erupts. They vanish into a dead zone. No signal, no backup coming. Next, the second extraction point, where a helicopter has to be combat-ready in exactly 3 minutes. They run it again and again, until it's perfect every time. Then, the hardest one, the western route, where a narrow canyon cuts through the mountains and the only way across is a rope strung between two cliffs. They rehearse the crossing over and over because out here, one mistake is fatal. They drill their shooting too, in case Salazar's men come at them in numbers. Baker plants landmines along the road, then he digs a hidden pit and covers it with wooden planks. A trap built for exactly one purpose, swallowing Salazar's men whole, mid-chase. There's one more move before the meeting. Bronco and Sid head into the hotel to bug Salazar's room before he ever sets foot in it. Bronco fakes a seizure in the lobby, collapsing hard enough to pull every set of eyes in the building toward him. In the chaos, he lifts the master key off the front desk. Gucci kills the camera feed to Salazar's room. Bronco and Sid slip inside and wire the entire suite. Across town, Moreno quietly disables every police car parked outside the station. Then Sid does something nobody expects. He gets himself arrested, on purpose, blackout drunk, a scene outside the police station, and they haul him in for the night, just so he can scout the place from the inside. The next morning, Bronco's waiting outside. Sid reports back, about 30 officers, a serious stockpile of weapons, but there's a bigger surprise. On the way out the door, Sid had already hacked the entire police security system, from his phone. Whatever happens next, they're ready. Rachel finally lands on the island. Sid meets her, and on the ride to camp, slips a watch onto her wrist. One button, he tells her. If she ever feels like she's in danger, press it, and they'll come. For a moment, the noise of the plan fades, and Rachel just thinks. Her mind drifts back to the day she first met Bronco and Sid, the day she pulled them out of prison sentences that would have buried them for life. That's the debt underneath all of this. That's why they're here. She reaches camp and reunites with the rest of the team. At the same time, Salazar arrives at the hotel for the meeting, already plotting with Horowitz to settle for $400 million instead of the full $1 billion. But Gucci is listening through the bugs, and he warns Rachel before she ever walks through the door. Rachel, Bronco, and Sid arrive. Salazar barely looks at her, talking straight past her to Horowitz. When he finally turns, he offers $350 million. She refuses. He bumps it to $400 million and calls it final, telling her she made a mistake letting the government seize his jet and his yacht. Rachel doesn't blink. She wants the original $1 billion, every cent. No interest, no extra fees, just what he stole in the first place. Salazar tells her she's pushed him as far as she's going. Take the $400 million or walk away with nothing. She chooses nothing. Rachel grabs Bronco and Sid and walks out. On the drive back, she asks to stop somewhere for a drink, just to calm down. They pull over at a small restaurant. Rachel and Bronco go inside. Sid stays in the car, radioing Gucci and the rest of the team to keep eyes on the area. Within minutes, Gucci spots something wrong. Salazar's men closing in fast. 2 gunmen walk straight into the restaurant and sit down near Rachel and Bronco. 2 more slip in through the back. 2 more take a table outside, watching the front door. Sid and the team move immediately, sealing off the building before anyone inside even realizes it's happening. The men inside go for their weapons. Bronco's faster. Both of them go down before either gets off a shot. In the kitchen, Sid and Baker take out the rest of Salazar's crew. It's over in seconds. They grab Rachel, shove her into the car, and speed away. Horowitz gets the call. The hit on Rachel failed. That same night, one of Rachel's men, Glover, reports he's quietly moving Salazar's remaining assets, exactly as planned. Rachel tells him to tie every last one of them to Salazar's secret shell companies. Her legal team gets a court order freezing every account he has left. Salazar's people start to suspect a leak. They're right. They tear apart Wolf's office and finally find the bugged statue. It's too late. Every company has already been exposed. Out of moves, Salazar agrees to meet Rachel face to face. He offers $800 million. She refuses again. She wants the full $1 billion, the original amount stolen from Spencer Goldstein, and she makes it clear she knows every trick he's ever run on his investors. If he doesn't pay, she'll expose all of it, and the lawsuits that follow will cost him far more than $1 billion. He has nowhere left to go. He agrees to wire the full amount within 24 hours, on one condition. She returns his yacht and jet once the freeze lifts. Rachel agrees. She calls Bobby with the news and tells her to release Salazar's property the moment the money clears. Bobby agrees. For a moment, it looks like the war is over. It isn't. 3 months pass. Rachel is staying in a tent out in the desert, and she still hasn't seen a single dollar of her 10%. She calls Bobby. No answer. Then she sees a car approaching in the distance, and something in her chest goes cold, because nobody is supposed to know where she is. She calls out for her guard. Nothing. She goes looking and finds him dead on the ground. She runs for her tent. Her friend and colleague is dead too. And that's when Olsen steps out of the car behind her, telling her to get in. Quietly. No fight. Before she takes a single step toward him, Rachel presses the button on her watch. That same night, Bronco and Sid break into Bobby's office. Salazar has Rachel. They tell her, and they make it very clear whose fault that is. Bobby still hasn't returned his seized assets, exactly as promised. She insists she's finalizing the paperwork, that Salazar gets his property back, and Rachel gets paid the moment it's done. Bronco and Sid aren't interested in paperwork. Fix this, they warn her, or they will. The next day, Salazar visits Rachel in custody and lays it out plainly. The island police belong to him. She isn't walking out of here until his assets come back. If she wants to live, she'd better find a way to make Bobby move faster. He has no idea Bronco and Sid are already moving. They split the team and roll up to the police station in a stolen squad car, dressed as officers. Straight through the front door, Down the guard in the weapons room, a stockpile of guns, grabbed in seconds. Then the cells, fighting through everyone in their path. They get Rachel out. That's when reinforcements flood the station. Gunfire erupts. Squad cars surround the building from every direction. Baker blasts a hole through the back wall, and the three of them bolt through it into a waiting car. Police chase them down the exact route they trained for weeks to perfect. Sid detonates the mines buried under the road. Cruisers flip behind them. But Salazar's men have one more move. A drone overhead, loaded with explosives. The second they reach the helicopter, it drops. The blast tears through the area. Dunn doesn't make it out. The team opens fire on the next wave of cars coming at them. Sid puts a bullet straight into a gas tank. The explosion wipes out a wave of Salazar's men in one shot. The survivors split, car and motorcycles, racing for the second escape route. And one by one, Salazar's remaining men slam straight into the traps they built weeks earlier. For a moment, it almost feels like they're going to make it out clean. They're not. Rachel and the team reach the safe house, only to find Salazar's men already closing in. Gunfire tears the house apart around them. Baker rigs explosives around the entire perimeter and orders everyone out. The second they clear the building, he detonates it. He doesn't make it out either. They reach the mountain pass and rappel down the rope, one by one, crossing to the far side exactly like they practiced. A car is waiting. They race for the coast. Out of nowhere, Olsen appears overhead in a helicopter, opening fire. Bronco and Sid answer with a rocket launcher, and the helicopter goes down in flames. Rachel finally escapes the island by boat. Bronco and Sid stay behind. There's one more job to finish. Disguised as paramedics, they slip into Salazar's house. The moment he walks through the door, they sedate him, strap him to a stretcher, and carry him straight out the front, like just another medical emergency. Sometime later, American authorities find a shipping container sitting in a port. Inside it, Manny Salazar. He gives them a different name, a different identity. It doesn't matter. He's caught. Rachel pays Bobby one last visit. She is not happy about the delay on her payment, and she tells Bobby she'll be charging a late fee. Bobby has no idea what she's talking about, so Rachel explains. Salazar's arrest means every crime he ever committed is about to land on someone else's desk, because Spencer Goldstein was the firm quietly bankrolling his criminal empire the whole time. And once that comes out, the people at Spencer Goldstein are going to need someone to take the fall. Bobby doesn't believe a word of it. Rachel tells her she won't have to wait long. Any minute now, a call is coming that will confirm everything herself. As Rachel walks out of the office, the phone rings. She doesn't even turn around. And that's the last image we're left with. Bobby Sheen, alone in her office, staring at a ringing phone she already knows she doesn't want to answer. If this recap kept you hooked, that's exactly the kind of story we love covering on this channel. So do us a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps us out. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And before you go, drop a comment. Who carried this heist for you? Bronco, Sid, or Rachel herself?